Good morning, Grace Church. It's Dr. Dave coming to you live on Tuesday morning. I just wanted to spend about 10 minutes with you as we have been doing. Hope you guys are having a good week so far. Sorry if this is a little bit dark and looks like one of those secret videos on 2020 or something. Things are beginning to slowly return to normal a little bit, perhaps. We've been officially released from the stay-at-home order, and so kids are running around playing again and breaking their legs and all kind of fun things like that. We're starting to see things waking up in other parts of the country as well, in selected areas based on how things have been going. So hopefully things will continue moving in that direction. And of course, a lot of that is dependent upon us doing what we need to be doing to protect ourselves and other people. And I think we can be proud of the fact that Idaho has had a very good track record in all this. One of the reasons we're one of the first states to begin reopening is because we haven't had the huge big problem with this, and I think that's largely due to the fact that we've generally been living life as we usually live. We don't come to Idaho because we want to live shoulder to shoulder with millions of people. So I wanted to take a few minutes this morning and talk about something that is kind of a big deal, whether we're in the middle of a pandemic or not. Something that comes up from time to time, and I'm not saying this in response to anything specific that has happened or anything that anyone in particular has done. It's just one of these general principles that's kind of always on my mind, and this morning seemed like a good morning to talk about it for some reason. And it's this notion of being careful with how we speak, with how we communicate, with things that we say. There's been a lot of areas in the country where as things are starting to reopen, that people are crawling out from under their rocks and just being nasty to each other. And then there continues to be this strong contribution from the conspiracy theory crowd that this is really just some grand nefarious scheme to overthrow the economy or whatever. So I want to just talk briefly about how we talk and how we speak and what we talk about. And so in Ephesians 4, chapter 29, Paul says this, and I know that this is a familiar passage to many of us. He says, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of our mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen." So he says several things about what should come out of our mouth. He says, don't let anything come out of your mouth that's unwholesome, that's not wholesome, that's not helpful. That's and helpful in what way? That's not helpful for building up others according to their needs, and that is helpful to them, that will benefit them. So how do we? So first of all, how do we not do this? A lot of times, just as friends sitting around, it's I think perfectly fine to sit around and tease each other as friends if we have that level of relationship with each other. There are things that I can say to friends that I would never say to anyone else because they would be horrifically offended. And because of the relationship I have with my friends, we know that we have, undying respect for each other. But we sometimes throw those kind of words around with people that we don't have that kind of respect for, that we don't have that kind of relationship with, I mean. And sometimes we're not intending to be hurtful, and sometimes we are just in a thoughtless sort of way, not necessarily in a malicious sort of way. We're just, joshing around with people, and we just kind of drag someone else into it who's not part of that circle of friends, and then they inadvertently get hurt. The other way that it happens that we see a lot is social media, where we see something and we think, oh, wow, I want to post this. And it's not our words. It's not something that we came up with. We just agree with the general gist of it. So what if it contains a profanity? I didn't say it. And people that know me know that I would never say it. Well, yeah, but you just did. It's posted on your social media feed, so therefore you said it. The image is posted on your social media, so therefore you posted it. Let no unwholesome talk come out of your mouths. I could also read, let nothing unwholesome appear on your social media feed. Well, wait a minute, Paul wasn't talking about that. There wasn't Facebook, there wasn't this, there wasn't that. Well, I mean, that's the same argument as the Second Amendment doesn't apply to, high-capacity magazines or automatic weapons. And if you want to continue that line of thought, then the First Amendment doesn't apply to email and social media. It doesn't apply to anything that's not made on a hand-turned press. A point of fact, Paul is talking about all of our communication, everything that we do, whether we're talking to someone, whether we're writing something, sending an email, putting something up on social media, whatever. Let no unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs. And it's interesting because what follows after this, I think, is even more instructive. Verse 30 says, and do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God, with whom you are sealed for the day of redemption. Get rid of all bitterness, rage, anger, brawling, slander, along with every form of malice, and be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other as Christ also forgave you. So Paul ties this notion of not allowing unwholesome talk to come out of our mouths with this notion of grieving the Holy Spirit. And so why would those two things have to do with each other? Well, you have to keep in mind that we as human persons are made in the image of God. We are God's image bearers, and therefore if we're communicating with each other, we are communicating with an image bearer of God. And so if you're poking fun at somebody, you're poking fun at the image of God. If you're saying something mean or rude to someone, you're saying something mean or rude to the image of God. And so when God sees his image being treated badly, it grieves him, it grieves the Holy Spirit, and that affects not only our relationship with each other, it affects our relationship with God. It doesn't threaten to end our relationship with God. Romans 5 is very clear that whatever sin we have, whatever sin we commit, God has more than enough grace to cover all of those sins. But just like every sort of relationship that we have, relationships can be built up or they can be damaged, and we can build up or damage our relationship with God. And part of the way that we do that is by how we treat each other, how we talk to each other, things we post on social media, things that we share, ideas that we kick around in casual conversation. And so that's what I want to leave you with this morning. Not in, some sort of big guilt trip sort of way. Tyson was mean to me the other day, so I'm going to talk about this. No, that's not that at all. And Tyson wasn't mean to me, at least not the other day. That was funny. Let's think about, there's another place where the Bible talks about to consider how we might build each other up to love and good works, to consider how we might do that, to put thought and effort into how we might build each other up, how we might encourage each other. And that's what I want to encourage us as you're talking to each other, as we're talking to each other, as we're posting on social media. Let's think, what can we do to encourage each other? And I'm not necessarily talking about, sappy little, chicken soup things. I'm talking about things that genuinely encourage someone. You see somebody do something nice, call them out, catch them doing something good. And let's see if we can, rather than look like everyone else and posting nonsense on social media, let's see if we can begin to lead the way in encouraging each other on social media and doing good and encouraging each other and building each other up, rather than just being knuckleheads like everybody else. You guys have a great Tuesday, and we will see you all tomorrow night on Facebook Church. Talk to you later.